And we meet again.
We have now left no choices in that.
That's right. And I mean, what better way to end a wedding expo with the panel keeping the love alive, right? I mean, that is
Indeed.
something everyone's going to be looking forward to, talking about everything: dresses, makeup, the relationships, money. You end it with how to keep everything going seamlessly. So that's the panel right now. We're going to be talking about, guys, and the moderator for the panel is none other than Arvind Jyot Sabhaney, the managing director of Zero In Management Private Limited, chairman and CEO of Team I, the Entertainment and Media Institute, also a member of the PRCI and co-founder of KEMA, the Karnataka Event Management Institute, proud owner of various multiple event intellectual properties, to name a few: Driven, DJ, Amathon, Ultimate Corporate League, and none other than our espousal online. So thank you, Arvind, for being here, and it's always an honor to have you moderating a panel or being at a panel. Stage is all yours while we wait for the panelists.
Before you go, Shikha, and
Sure.
Laurel is also here. Hey, Laurel. Espousal
Hello.
Online belongs to Shikha. I just support her. Let's get that first.
It belongs to us. It belongs to us.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on such a magnificent event. Absolutely amazing, and honored to be a part of it.
Thank you. And hi, Chris. Hi, Laurel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank
I
you.
think
Great.
such a successful day already. You guys must be ecstatic.
No, we live on stress. That is our high. Thank you, Shikha. Okay, so quickly, thank you, Dr. Chris, Laurel. I had the pleasure of meeting you earlier. You are an amazing lady. I had the pleasure of meeting Chris. Let's quickly do a round of introductions and let's deep dive into how are these people going to keep the love alive. Laurel, let's start with you.
Well, the feeling that you have at the beginning of a marriage is such a beautiful high feeling where the love that is within you is at full tilt, full blossom. And yet we know, because life is filled with ups and downs, that conflicts are going to arise. So knowing how to weatherproof your relationship so that even when you are feeling a strong negative emotion or your partner is feeling that negative emotion, there are actually strategies that you can employ that keep your connection intact so that together you can weather this storm and come out stronger and more in love than you were when you enter it. So you're at the beginning of an amazing journey, which has the capacity to carry you through your lifetime in a beautiful way that helps both of you evolve yourselves on many levels, psychologically, emotionally, and even spiritually. And that's by treating your tender relationship and each other with the loving kindness that you always wish to be treated yourself, by being
Absolutely.
gentle
Fantastic.
and loving.
Absolutely. But before we deep dive into the entire relationship, we want you to spend 1 minute to introduce yourself, Laurel.
So my name is Laurel Airica, and I am the creator of word magic, wordplay that unravels mass hypnosis and elevates the frequency of consciousness. And what I share is wordplay that reveals the hidden philosophy in language. So, for instance, in the word touch is the word ouch. In the word eros, if you scramble the letters, it becomes sore. So there is the potential for delight and for conflict in any situation. And the English language has a way of echoing and reflecting it. And so this is what I share as an educational, inspirational entertainer.
Super, super. You are amazing. I had the honor of meeting you earlier, so I do know. Dr. Chris, let's do a couple of minutes of introduction and let's get into the panel.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Chrisna Ravyse, and I'm so happy to be here. Hello, South Africa. I am originally from there, so hey. I'm a clinical exercise physiologist by profession, and I work on wellness, the whole aspect of wellness. Wellness is not just physical activity and nutrition like most people seem to think. It's all aspects of life. It is our emotional well-being. It is our spiritual well-being. It is our environment, and it's also our relationships. So that is where I'm coming from. And I work mainly with corporate companies and putting teams together. And I think when I prepared for this, I just realized, you know what, that is exactly what marriage is. It's a partnership, and we have to work together as a team. And you know, all these beautiful pictures in sport where you see people as a team, the rowers, if you're not in sync, if you're not in time, you're gonna go off course, or you're not gonna make the end goal that you set for yourself. And it's nothing different from that. And Laurel, I'm so honored to be with you on this panel. You really have a very interesting take on things. So
Thank you.
So let's quickly understand now, and this is common, and it's a common fact that I love you now gets to another meaning altogether. A lot of couples, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, the whole meaning of these 3 little words that made her the happiest woman in the world once upon a time now means something else. Okay? Dr. Chris, tell us what it means after a year.
Well, I think the fun starts now. Now it means we are in the box ready to go, right? So if you allow it, of course, this is now the time to start working together as a team, to figure it out, to be partnership in everything without expecting to be together all the time. And I think that is often where we lose the purpose of a marriage. The purpose of a marriage is not to be by each other's side all the time, going everywhere all the time. It is being individuals growing together in a relationship, working together in a relationship to live an ultimate and fulfilling life. And that means we need to understand that we give time to breathe for each other. And I think as ladies, we are probably the biggest culprits in this, because we've got these romantic ideas of, you know, we're walking on the beach together, we're making food together, we're raising the children together, and everything is together. And in essence, though, that is what it should be, and we should help one another. It's in practice not always possible. There are going to be times that you're going to have to make food yourself. And you need to know that I love you still remains. That I love you still remains, regardless of the fact that you need to take times to go out and have a walk because there are small children that you need to take care of. And be okay with it and be totally fine with it. But then making time afterwards for each other to reconnect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I'm going to take this another step ahead and ask Laurel. People say that you need to adjust in a marriage. And somewhere where I come from, adjust sounds like compromise, right? It's a different perspective. So, Laurel, tell us, how should people adjust without compromising?
What's really important at the beginning of a relationship is to discover the common ground and the core values that you will not compromise. And hopefully people have done this before they tied the knot. Otherwise, united may become untied, because that's what that same word will do. So when you know what isn't compromisable, integrity is not compromisable. Your the ability to negotiate with your partner's best interests in mind as well as your own. These kinds of things help you be on the common ground so that what you are negotiating is not compromising anything that is central to you. If you have made agreements, and, pardon me, and the agreement, I'm so sorry, is to stay inside the marriage, no infidelities, then that's a point that you will not want to compromise. And one of the ways to get deeper and deeper in your understanding of core values is with questions. I'm so sorry, I've had a little cold.
No worry.
Asking each other open-ended questions so that you know deeper and deeper what is the dream underneath the some kind of conflict where people aren't going to give up their position. Well, what does that represent to you at a deeper level? What are you looking for us to achieve together and for you to achieve individually, so that we can each be very aware and support our mutual and individual evolution as a couple. And then there isn't the sense of compromising your true values. You're simply negotiating the little points around them.
Amazing, Laurel. This is so amazing. I'm so happy and honored just to listen to you. Yeah. But I'm going to, while you grab a sip of water, Laurel, I'll go to Dr. Chris. And, let's take this one further. And this adjustment, right? How can a couple actually guard against adjusting to please the other half? I mean, once you start adjusting, I believe that you're going to start growing apart, growing in different directions, and outgrow each other. How are we going to prevent that from happening, Chrisna?
Well, I think to start off with, one should never be a other half. One should be a whole. So I think, if two people are whole and secure in themselves, knowing fully what their dreams are, what their desires are, and what it is that they want from a relationship. And like Laurel has said, that has been discussed before, hopefully tying the knot, then one should know that these two whole people should just come together in unity and enhance each other rather than trying to fill each other. And I think it's quite, we should never be compromise who you are. Laurel said it perfectly. And you should be who you are. And as a partner, you should remember why it is that you fell in love with this person, for who and what he is, not for what you want him to be or her to be. Okay? Because that is just, setting yourself up for disaster to begin with. And it's also important to not forget that you cannot rely on somebody else to fill the gaps that you feel in your life. It is not their responsibility. You need to be able to fill those gaps yourself. And I think that is probably the most where relationships go off on the rocks, is because they were looking for this person to provide something that they were looking for in here, and that person cannot provide it. He just, or she can just not provide it. And that is the thing that I think, is definitely important to remember. When it comes to growing apart, I think is we need to understand that we each have our own lives with many facets. It's two wheels with all facets. If one of those facets of your own life comes out of sync, the wheel starts wobbling. Now, if there are two wheels with one facet out of wobbling, the whole thing starts wobbling and the whole road. So we each need to pay attention on all areas in our lives. That means you have to have your own hobbies. You have to have your own interests. You have to have your own relationships. But you also have to have things that you do together, common interests, in order to be able to make sure that Even though you grow in other areas in your life on your own, you also grow together.
Absolutely, Dr. Krishna. I mean, you have just nailed it. This is so amazing, And we keep coming back to that point, which is that you are not filling up the gap in somebody's life. Don't get married for all the wrong reasons. Okay? You have to be very clear that the two people know what they want as a unit of the two wheels that you spoke about with the facet. This is so important. But we are going to quickly wind this up because we have had long panels before this. So there is something called forever. I know, frankly, that is impossible, right? Because nothing is forever. I believe that. But how, Laurel, can we try and protect this forever so that it lasts for this lifetime at least?
I really appreciate the fact that when you turn love around, it begins the word evolve. And the love we share with each other can so nourish both partners that both evolve into the greatest potential that they have as a co-evolutionary couple. And if you read statistics on marriage, you know that it's a journey that not many can travel all the way through to forever in their life. Fortunately, however, we're at a time when a good marriage is not only an art, it's a science. And there are researchers now, for instance, John Gottman, Gottman. If you go online, you'll find out what the research he has done with his partner has revealed about marriages that work and marriages that fail. So you can prepare yourself while you're in such a state of love and able to envision the possibility of forever. You can prepare yourself for the rocky seas you will no doubt encounter with a little bit of research that will show you kindness, respect, love, appreciation, taking ownership of your feelings instead of blaming the other person. All these are little tiny strategies that can ensure your love can last a lifetime.
You are so amazing, Laurel. Problems are going to happen. The rocky seas are going to happen. That's a give in. These are problems are going to happen. You cannot say that my marriage is not going to have problems. Okay, every relationship in this world, man, woman, man, dog, right, woman, there are
Right.
going to be problems.
Yes.
Over to you, Dr. Chris, to wrap this one up for us on the
Well,
problems and how are we going to be prepared to deal with them.
I think communication is key. You cannot go through a relationship, no matter, like you said, man, woman, man, dog. I like that one. It doesn't matter. It is about communication. You have to communicate how you feel, if you feel uncertain of a situation, and the other party needs to communicate back to you. You have to have that channel that goes both ways when it is about dealing issues. It is important to also be each other's cheerleaders and support structure, because sometimes one partner will be going through something in their lives that are actually influencing the relationship. And you need to be knowing that that is your time to be strong. And even if maybe you are the woman in the relationship where you want to have the support, there are times that you have to support your spouse through rough times in their lives, and then you have to be strong and always make sure that you operate from a place of self-love. I talk a lot about self-love, and if you don't have that complete self-love, you cannot love the other completely. So having said that, if you love yourself enough, you know you have to accept your own shortcomings and your own growth areas. I never call it faults. It's always a growth area because we can always grow in them. But so you must also recognize that in your partner. So when these rough seas come, you must recognize they've got shortcomings, but accept those in love rather than trying to use that as the reason or the excuse for this not to work through. Because when you started this relationship, you fell in love with all of it, the good and the bad. You just maybe had rose-colored glasses on in the beginning. You didn't see the bad so much. You didn't see all the shortcomings. And now, as life happens, these things pop up. But you must remember that it's still the same person that you fell in love with in the beginning. And you accepted that, yes, you said, I do. So that's how you have to move forward in it.
Superb. I really wish I had met both you ladies about 35 years ago. I would have had quite a different life. Yeah. But I'm going to quickly wrap this up from Laurel and Dr. Chrisna. Integrity, I understand, being one of the important things to keep the love alive. Knowing yourself fully, self-love being a very, very important thing. Adjustment is not equal to compromise. We need to understand that. Okay. And if people are able to follow these 2-3 takeaways from a panel of this nature, where we have the best two people, I think, in the world to talk about something of this nature, you will have a great forever relationship. On
And
that
if
note, Laurel,
we
Chris.
just add that in the word problem is a poem.
Wow.
If you look at it, you will see there is a poem in every problem. Everything that challenges us can also gift us. And when we are with an open heart and open eyes, looking for the beauty and what we can learn, then a problem can turn into a transcendent moment and a beautiful poem you treasure forever.
Fantastic. On that note, Laurel, Chrisna, thank you so much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate this.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.